dear Scorpios, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for June 2016. You are one complex little cat this month. You are, but that's what makes you such a delicious energy for me personally. You know, like the Leo side of me is always compelled for you, sweet little Scorpios. So we're going to have a couple events go on. Your ruler is going to be in Scorpio. It's going to be in retrograde until the 30th. So your ruler is going to go direct the very last day of the month. Pluto in Capricorn is still in retrograde, and that will be until the end of the month. So we're in a reflection central. Like, you know, you're in, Mars in Scorpio feels your stamina, your kind of, your energies are lower. I think you're probably much more tired. You're just feeling kind of low key this month. You're much more passive aggressive. You're not going to, you're being into, I think what this has a lot to do with is to make you not be such an active individual externally so that you can pay attention internally to the reflection cycle. It really forces you to take a look at that internal structure. When Pluto is in retrograde, Pluto is all about is taking a look at the areas in our life where we do not have discipline and we do not have the structure in our life that we are being compelled to take a look at to create this earth trine that we've been being guided so heavily to. So it's all about consistency, longevity. Where's there not enough structure and discipline in those areas? The Scorpio energy is intensifying, moving away from the past cycles that no longer serve us, letting go, forgiving, forgetting. You're very aligned with, I think, the Chiron energy. Chiron is also going to go retrograde. So there's a very big focus on healing the past and then facing the past and being and really trying to see what the concept of the past was. So from the 1st until the 6th, Mars in Scorpio is going to be opposing Taurus energy. So you are trying to identify what you desire most from, what you value most from relationships. And this is a difficult process. I think there's a little bit of yin and yang because you're kind of like one of those creatures that needs something sort of really deeply intense but don't like a lot of drama. Or you really desire some sort of deep, intense bond, but some of your relationships may be very superficial and very unfulfilling, and they may either supply a need or a want, but they don't supply both. So you could have some sort of realization and some sort of difficult conversations about that. From the 7th to the end of the month, Mars in Scorpio is going to quincunx Uranus. So again, I think you're trying to identify where your routines and rituals don't support the discipline that you need, the structure that you need to kind of break free of some of these patterns that are not truly deeply authentic. So for some of you, this could be, I'm being told to do this and I'm in kind of compliant energy and my stamina is a little low and my energy is a little low, so I'm just going to go along with it. But I believe that if you do with that, you're going to quincunx in Uranus, and there's going to be some sort of unpredictable element about being able to comply. Like you'll feel like really weird. You'll feel like internally resentful that you had to comply, but yet you're not going to have a lot of energy to want to not comply. From the 1st to the end of the month, Mars in Scorpio is going to trine Chiron. So to me, this suggests that I think that you're not so focused on how you feel about the wound. I think you're willing to take some very logical, well thought out, very karmic risks at this time. I believe that you're just kind of being intuitively guided to do things that just kind of automatically bring healing to your life. From the 1st to the end of the month, Pluto in Capricorn is going to trine Jupiter in Virgo. So your thoughts and your day-to-day rituals are going to support your hopes, your dreams, and wishes. It's a very healing time. Things are being brought forth to you that I think that are going to add a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity, and it will get you closer to your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes, which I think is really beautiful. From the 1st to the end of the month, Pluto in Capricorn, which is still in retrograde, is going to be in a delicious sextile with Neptune and Pisces, which is going to be direct, and then it's going to go retrograde. So in this energy, guys, what we really need to do is discipline our day and discipline our thoughts on a day-to-day level that really embrace hopeful mindsets. You know, you really want to embrace the lighter side of life. You really want to take a look at, yes, I went through all this stuff. It was a difficult journey. Yes, the realism is my wound is this, but you know what? I no longer feel so deeply compelled, or it's not, my wound doesn't intensify my reactions. What intensifies my reactions is this hopeful mindset and moving away from these karmic cycles that no longer serve me. From the 1st to the end of the month, Pluto in Capricorn is going to trine the North Node. This is a very ascension level energy. This is getting you to the next point in your life. This is maturity. I think this is a very beautiful concept. I mean, I think that there's a lot of energy right now being very supportive, stabilizing your foundation. I feel like you have a lot of structure in this energy to like build a significant foundation on a deeply internal level. Like, I believe that you've made some significant strides and you're starting to stabilize your situation. From the 1st through the 9th, Pluto in Capricorn is going to trine Mercury in Taurus. So relationships in your family or immediate, like your siblings or your neighbors, or relationships, even your significant bonds and unions. It's just, there's an ease there. You're being understood. There's a comfort. There's security there in some of your most deepest significant bonds and unions. From the 1st through the 4th, Pluto in Capricorn is going to square off with Uranus and Aries. You know, I think I said something about that. Like, you just need to be very, very authentic and never comply. Even if it makes, situations much easier, just don't comply in energy. From the 4th through the 9th, Pluto in Capricorn is going to be conjunct the Sun and conjunct Venus. So a change is necessary. A change is necessary in the duality. You're flipping between mindsets. And, that's really unsettling all this Pluto and Capricorn energy. So you cannot be too dualistic, or it will kind of rock the boat in what you're trying to stabilize. So just be very, very mindful of that. From the 23rd to the end of the month, Pluto in Capricorn is going to oppose Venus. So this is about taking a look at the elevated perspective. At the same time, you're taking a look at that mind that gets you through the day. So your thoughts that get you through the day, your actions, well, your thoughts create your actions. And so there's a certain amount of intuitive nature to this energy. Like, you're being guided to feel these feelings, and in turn, they're creating this reactive thought process. Now, all of these energies are cardinal, or both these two energies are cardinal. So what I'm trying to say is that you need to make some definite changes in the way that you take a look at this from an elevated perspective in your day-to-day situations. So it's very important that your day-to-day situations constantly, or your day-to-day thoughts constantly, provide you empowerment. You can either take away your power, or you can add empowerment in your thought process on a day-to-day level. And if we do this, if we're habitual enough with the tape that we play in our mind, the way that we look at ourselves, then it really honestly starts to really change things internally, which then we externalize everything so much better. So on the 4th, we have that new moon in Gemini, and it's going to be conjunct with Venus. And so to me, this suggests that there's going to be a change. Now, you have two different energies at play. Mars in Scorpio is a very reflective cycle. You're deeply identifying some of these old wounds that you've had in the past, and you're moving forward, I think, eventually with a significant amount of healing that comes from that. You'll start to take some risks. You'll start to really deeply kind of come out of your shell, I think, in this energy. And it will be in opposition with Mercury and Taurus. I think that's to attract relationships that you deeply value and that value you, and that really deeply understand you on every level, considering we have all 5 senses to consider. And some of these relationships, you want to really understand you. So I think there's a very communicative effect to this moon. You're going to want to communicate about what you deeply desire. Then Pluto is going to be in a quincunx with the new moon and quincunx with Venus. So there's a significant change that's necessary. This just change has to do with the way that you habitually receive information, the way that you look at things. If you look at things in a pessimistic mindset, and if you base it on the past, then of course, you're just looking at the past as some sort of repetitive cycle. But if you take a look and you want to make some changes in your life, and you want to have a more hopeful mindset, then you start to attract opportunities. So it's your choice how you identify in this energy. And then on the 7th, we have a grand Earth, the grand Earth trine ends, and that would be in Pluto. So you no longer feel like you have this smooth, harmonious flow of energy that gets released from Pluto's energy. And then from the 13th to the 17th, a yod forms. And at the very top of this yod, and a yod is like a question, a very spiritual, a very intuitive question from the heavens, from the universe, from God, whatever you hold as that elevated person or thing, that is really going to ask you about what you deeply identify with. What you feel intense about at this point, what intensely motivates you. Like there is, for me, when I think of Scorpio energy, I think of this very intuitively intensified situation. And at the base of this yod is Uranus and Aries. So I think that there is something where you need to set up a ritual or routine, or you're not being quite authentic. You may be complying. You may not have the energy level to be dealing with a lot of this adversity because your ruler is still kind of caught in reflective energy, and it's just masculine energy is kind of in like a kind of tired cycle. It's kind of wore out. It's kind of and so it may be hard to create the discipline in your life to create some powerful rituals and routines on an authentic level. And then, of course, we have this really, it's so hard because we have this really energetic Venus and Gemini and the Sun in Gemini energy, really wanting us to be energized at a time when I think you're just fucking tired. You're wore out. You're drained. Energetically, you're asked to be reflective right now, not to be forward. Gemini energy is very forward, and it interacts with its environment very intensely. It's quick. And you're not feeling quickly intensity, you're just like, eh. But the sextile can be found between creating the discipline on a day-to-day level to be adaptable. I think what this is trying to do is get you out of some sort of fixed, regimented mindset, something about the past, something that's deeply intense about the past, and kind of taking a look at it from a different perspective. And I think what it's doing is you have to make a change, but I think what's difficult with this energy is that you're just not feeling very energized to do so. Then on the 20th, we have a full moon. This is the second full moon of so we had our first Sagittarian full moon in May, and then we have our second Sagittarian full moon in June. So it's an accumulative of those two. So this has to do with everything about what you value. Who you value, why you value it, what motivates you to value what you value. And at the same day, we have the sun moving into Cancer, which that's a fellow water energy for you. And so what this suggests to me is that you're going to be intuitively guided on a very, very internal level. Like this is like your gut telling you what to value, who to value, and why to value it. Your spidey senses, I think, are going to be very, very elevated. Mars in Scorpio is going to quincunx Chiron, and it's going to trine Chiron, and it's going to quincunx Uranus. So again, this is about kind of pushing forward in energy when I don't think you have a lot of stamina. You're very reflective. There's a lot of intensity about this situation. You know what I think this is really getting you to pay attention to how you habitually on a very simplistic level don't identify with that authentic sense of self. Like on a day-to-day level, you're not understood because maybe you're personifying something that people don't understand. So maybe you're personifying that you're cool with something, but secretly you're just resenting the fuck out of it. Like you're just done. Like that happens all the time with a Scorpio. I have to read between the lines. When I meet a Scorpio, it cannot be about what they say. I have to look at their eyes, and then I have to, with Scorpios, I have to look at their eyes and I have to listen to what they say. And in between their eyes and what they say is the actual issue. That's just the bottom line with a Scorpio. And that's confusing as hell. So in this energy, maybe it's getting you to be able to communicate effectively what you hope for, what you dream for. It's getting you to open up. And this is on a very, very deeply authentic level. And if you start talking about what you hope and you dream for, it definitely opens you up to having some very beautiful, enlightening conversations. And it really motivates you to move forward and away from this process. If you start talking about, if you start talking in code, Scorpio code, then I just think that you're just going to miss the boat on this glorious energy. This is about healing. It's about getting people to understand you. It's about moving forward. It's about having conversations with others that provides you with depth, and you touch them on a very deep level. But if you are talking in code, not everybody understands Scorpio code. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. I look forward to talking to you guys again next month.